Hey everybody, welcome back to a Team CP podcast, of course brought to you by the CP Media team. Tonight we are kicking off the first of our Clifftop Challenge season specials. Richard Greer joining me. Rich, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm really good, Angus. How are you getting on this evening?
Mate, I'm good. The cold winter's just starting to take effect though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed. It is. You've got the heater on there in your studio?
Jeez, I couldn't find the heater. But I tell you, it's all okay because tonight's episode is actually brought to you by True Fleece Merino. And would you believe I've actually got a True Fleece Merino long sleeve thermal on and then our CP polo on over top of that. So a big thanks to True Fleece for keeping me warm in my studio here.
That's a great plug earlier. What are we, a minute in?
Didn't we know that?
Yeah, good stuff. So Clifftop Challenge, do you know much about it?
Well, I do know a little bit about it, mate. Enough to be dangerous anyway. Not enough to get me entered, that's for sure.
Oh, really? Well, we might double check that towards the back end of the show and see how that one actually gets on. Yeah, there's some interesting stats there. This run looks pretty serious. I was just looking at it in the show notes before we kicked off, and it's going to be a big job. I think that's probably one of the key things to take from this early on is that, just a kind of a weekend sort of day multi-sport race, it'll be fine. But you're going to know about it, especially if you do the long course. So, yeah, interesting. It's going to be real interesting to see how, I guess, what we learned tonight, but also how the first inaugural year goes this time around.
Yeah, that's right. And like you say, that long course is going to be, she's going to be an absolute beaut. Don't get me wrong, it's going to have some absolute stunning views over there. Yeah. But, there's multiple length courses, some short course, which we will find all out about very shortly. Of course, tonight we've actually got Mrs. Clifftop Challenge herself. Kerry, you're in on board?
Yeah, we have indeed. Yep. So we're going to talk to Kerry. She is the race director. She she's been in this game for a number of years now, knows what she's talking. Reckon she's got an absolute stunner in terms of this particular course. So really keen to share what that is about. And we're going to find out some more details about the course tonight and the back end stuff that makes this event special, and also what she brings to the event in terms of the community and the vibe and the start finish line, etc. We're also going to talk to 𝘾𝙧𝙧𝙧𝙗, who is the landowner, and find out a bit more. Obviously, these two have got together and gone, there could be something in this. And obviously, Carl's done the coast to coast. He's spent a couple of years training for this event on this particular property in this space. So in terms of paddling and mountain and running up and down these hills and awesome terrain. And then we're going to round out the show with Alice Bryce. Alice, there was a rumor that she had put her entry in, but actually she hasn't put her entry in just yet. So she's going to try and figure out how she's going to do this. So we're going to chat to Alice around the event, and we're going to follow her through her journey to this event in the next few podcasts as well. So it's going to be pretty good fun tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be have Clifftop Challenge on board with us here, and as part of the CP Media podcast. And I know Kerry's itching to tell us a few tales, but just before the show, she was showing me the 20 pages of notes that she's got written down there to talk about. So, what do you reckon, mate? Should we get her on and see what this is all about?
Yeah, I think we should. But just before we get underway, we're really keen on getting a bit of feedback. We're asking some questions. So we've got a True Fleece beanie to give away, courtesy of Carl and True Fleece Merino. So as a result of giving us a thumbs up, giving us some feedback, asking a question, etc. And this might not be just tonight. You might be listening to this as a podcast. So again, don't feel like, I've missed the boat because I didn't watch it live. Let us know. Ask some questions. Obviously, we've got another show that we're going to come up as well, so we can throw those at Kerry and Carl and the crew in the lead up as well. So ask us a question. We've got a True Fleece beanie or a buff to give away. They're pretty awesome as a result of tonight's show.
Well, actually, the good times have already started there by the looks. I can't actually see who it is that's written that. It just says Facebook user. But the first comment of the night is not bad to start with. It said Angus needs to take a razor to the true fleece growing on his face. So noted there that the media man with the mo has got his winter woolies on just at the moment.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, nice work. So Kerry, is she in the background?
She is. Welcome,
Hello.
Kerry.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you tonight, Kerry?
I'm nervous. I feel like this week I've had, I was having a laugh yesterday. I had to ref my 11-year-old's hockey game at Nunweek Park, and I told him later, I said I was more nervous doing that than doing a race briefing in front of hundreds of people. So this has been a week of getting out of my comfort zone. So yes, a bit nervous.
Fantastic. No,
Yeah.
that's all right. We'll be nice to you. It'll be good. It'll be good, 𝘾𝙧𝙧𝙧𝙀.
Okay.
So, like, give us a bit of background of this event. It's been a couple of years in the making in terms
Yes.
of getting up and running and COVID and all those sorts of things that are happening. We're ready to rock and roll this time around, November the 4th. Why are you so excited about this event?
I think the biggest thing, well, there's two big things. One's the location, like it's just amazing there. And the other is actually having a multi-sport race. I think that's really exciting. And it's such a big thing in the country now. And to be able to have this multi-sport race at 𝘼𝙧𝙧𝙬, it's so close to Christchurch. The location's sort of rugged and it's tough. Like it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, good stuff. So give us a bit of a background on the concept and what work you've done to get to this point.
Okay, well, initially it was going to just be a run. So we'd sort of had a yarn to 𝘾𝙧𝙧𝙀 back before he was sort of into his multi-sport. So had a yarn to 𝘾𝙧𝙧𝙀 and he was like, yep, this will be awesome. And then, Karen, where am I supposed to look?
You just straight ahead.
My eyes are all over the place. Just look straight ahead.
Yeah,
look through the camera.
Just through the camera. So 𝘾𝙧𝙧𝙀, and then he was like, after he'd sort of been training for Coast to Coast, he was like, let's chuck it and make it a wee bit harder. So that's sort of where that progressed. And and I guess having the right team on board as well, that sort of helped us, because obviously I don't have a water background. So we've got a really awesome water safety team with Ben Keys. If anyone's into paddling will know Ben. He's pretty much one of New Zealand's top surf skiers. So that's really exciting. And then through him, we've got the Surf Lifesaving New Zealand coming on board as well. So we've got the water really covered, which is exciting. So
nice. Awesome.
It was sort of our background. We had to make sure we had everything sorted to make sure we could actually pull this race off. Like it's not just saying, oh, we're going to do it. We have to make sure we've actually got everything in place to make sure it's safe. And and then away it went. 𝘾𝙧𝙧𝙀 was sort of sorting out the course with us, and he, like you said earlier, Richard, 𝘾𝙧's been training on this ground for the last couple of years, and that made it sort of easy from our point of view.
Yeah, good stuff. It's just probably keeping him under control, getting a bit excited. Oh, here, 𝘾𝙧𝙧𝙧𝙀, we can do this as well. What about this? And you're like, whoa. Yeah.
Might as well round the sheep up while you're there.
Yeah, well, definitely. He did. The last thing was we'd sort of, we'd sort of stalled things and waited till after Coast, and then he was like, we need to make it longer. So I'm like, okay, let's go for it. So,
yeah, good.
Blame 𝘾𝙧𝙧𝙀.
This might be a question for Carl later, but actually I've done a couple of events, multi-sport events, where there's been a bit of a task in the middle of them, and whether that's been a small ball rifle or archery or something like that. I'm wondering if there's a merino sheep to be shorn or something somewhere along the way.
At least crutch, maybe. Sure, might be a little bit much, but maybe crutch.
We could run people through the wool shed. That could be quite fun, and down the chute.
There we go. With a slip and slide. I like it. Yeah, a few bubbles. Yeah. Look out. Too many ideas. 𝘾𝙧𝙧𝙧𝙀, you organise Mount Oxford Odyssey and also race Tekapo, and have been involved in organising events for a long time now. In your opinion, what makes a great event?
I think location's a big one. Making sure that it's not too far away for people to get to.
Yep.
And also the concept of the race. So you're kind of trying to see what the trends are and what people are into. And so that's quite important initially. And then I guess from an organisation point of view, it's just making sure we've got everything covered. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And I think people are a wee bit more aware of it now, all the, health and safety and that kind of thing. The safety's huge, we don't want anything going wrong. So we want everyone to come out at the end of the day and have had a really good day, and sort of nothing. We sort of want the experience to be awesome from the time they enter to when they cross the finish line. So, but I think location and the concept's probably the biggest.
Yeah, cool. And that's the thing with this, is that Akaroa, a lot of people go to Akaroa, but 𝘼𝙧𝙧𝙀 is over the other side, isn't it? So people don't go to 𝘼𝙧𝙧𝙀. Like, I've only ever been there once. So it's going to be really interesting to get back and kind of suss out it from a different perspective in terms of being there. And a lot of people won't have never have been there. So exploring somewhere new is a big part of why people want to go and do events.
Yes.
The same as your Oxford Odyssey and Race 𝙆𝙆𝙧𝙀, is that actually we were going to go and find out what this is all about and go somewhere that I've never been before. That adventure element.
Absolutely. Yeah. And 𝘼𝙆𝙧𝙀 Base. Yeah. No, you go, Angus.
I was just going to say, it is something to just for our viewers out there and people listening later on, that it is a reasonable way to get to 𝘼𝙆𝙧𝙀 Bay as well. Just make sure that people take that into account when they're planning going on the morning of the race or whatever. That it's a fair wind down into there.
It is, yes. I did get a little bit car sick one day driving it, but I just had to slow down a wee bit. But yeah, it's half an hour from Akaroa, so you can stay in Akaroa the night. There's some of the batch owners have got some places available. I actually had an entrant the other day emailed me and said, "Oh, we've got some space on our lawn, so if anyone wants to camp up there." And Carl's also very kindly offered his property to camp on up the top of the hill, which is really cool. So when you enter, you can actually enter a camp, get a campsite. He's got a gas hot water shower at the wool shed, and yeah, we'll get a toilet up the top, and yeah, that'll be a bit of an adventure driving up to their farm and getting to stay in the bay, which will be neat. So yeah,
cool.
Yeah, if you don't want to start too early in the morning, then you definitely want to camp in the bay.
Do you want to write this down for a question later, Angus? Will Carl do breakfast for us?
Oh.
You just write that down as a question. We won't. We'll just leave that there. Just
I think that's a shake of the head in the
you
back.
can buy a meal ticket. So you can buy a meal ticket. Yep.
Okay, so I'll pay for him to make me breakfast. That's completely fine. No, good. So this is a multi-sport event, but people can enter just a bike and just a run as well, can't they?
Yes, they can. So we've got the multi-sport race. So that's the ocean kayak, the mountain bike, and the trail run. And then if you just want to do the mountain bike, you can enter that separately, and same with the trail run. So we've staggered all the start times to make sure everyone can get their start. We've also made sure that with the high tide that you're not going to have to be going through the estuary at chest height.
Okay,
no swimming involved.
Yep.
So so we've worked hard to make sure we can get everyone catered for. So, and I think the other thing too, like Alice is, she'll be talking about this later on, but if you want to do like a duathlon, because we're not doing a duathlon this year, we'll look at that next year. But logistically, we want to make sure we do a really good job of the multi-sport in the first year. So if you do want to do the bike and the run, then enter a team in the multi-sport and get someone else to do the paddle, because there'll be plenty of people, I imagine, that just want to do the paddle. So
yeah, cool. Because it's a long, like the paddle's a solid paddle too, isn't it? Is it 18 Ks? Is that what we do?
Yeah, 18 K for the long course. Yep. So there'll be people out there that'll be, we've kind of with Ben worked out that the fastest will probably take about an hour and a half out in the long course. It's quite a long time on the water. Yep. And then, it might take sort of 2.5 hours for some of the slower people. So, it's a pretty good paddle.
It's a lot, 100%. So, what boat should we be shooting for? What should I load on the roof of the car in the morning? Is it a surf ski? Is it a multi-sport boat? Is it a sea kayak? What are we sort of thinking there? If
you've got both, then bring both, because that'd be awesome. The aim is that we'll have, if the weather's good, everyone in the long course is going to get out in the ocean. So you want to bring, if you've got a surf ski, then bring your surf ski. The alternate route, if it's going to be too wavy, too much of a swell, then we'll be sending everyone up the estuary, which is where the short course is going. So, but we'll just be doing a bit of an out and back to make sure we get the time up and time on the water. So the main issue with the surf ski is making sure you've got a stern rudder, not the underkeel rudder. So if you've got a surf ski with the option of both, then that's, that would be good. So we have told people if they don't have a stern rudder, then bring your multi-sport kayak. So there'll be plenty of people out in the water in their multi-sport kayak. That way you can go up the estuary if you need to. We have put on there about a grade 2 certificate if you're bringing your multi-sport kayak. So that's mainly just so we know you can do a wet exit. So if you do have a spill, then we need to know you can get out. If you there's plenty of people that have been paddling for years that don't have the certificate. So if that's the case, then just flick us an email, and Ben's sort of screening people and making sure they'll be safe out on the water. So Yeah, we're pretty flexible, really. It's sort of we have a bit of a disclaimer on the entry form. If you're bringing your surf ski, then if there's some damage to the keel, that's the rudder. Sorry, that's the biggest biggest concern for us. We just want people to know. But the estuary it is high tide, so Carl's said it's pretty deep in there, so we can't sort of foresee there's too many issues, but we cover all bases.
Just got to be careful of with Angus with his flounder net or his fishing rod. While at the history, that's probably the key thing to look out for there. What advice would you give to athletes looking to enter the event, Kerry?
I think if you're doing the multi-sport, then definitely get out in the ocean and practice paddling in the ocean. It's quite different to being in the river. We had some people out in the bay when we were sort of initially setting the course with Ben, and it's quite different. There's quite a bit of pushback off the cliffs, so and that was on quite calm water. Especially having a go getting out through the surf. Carl will probably tell a few good stories of getting out through the waves. So there's been a bit of a suggestion to make sure we've got some of our photographers on the beach. Could be a bit of carnage, but that would be a good tip to practice getting out through the waves. And if you're doing the bike and the run, then definitely some hills. We've got the Panama Road, which is part of the bike course and part of the 31k run course. It's got a 45-degree gradient in one place. So, we've had a group go up there and with some pretty good sort of God Zone athletes, and there was only one of them reckoned he could have biked the whole way. So, and he
chose not to.
Yeah, well, the only reason he took a wrong line and got caught in a rut. So, so it's pretty steep. So I think getting up in the hills and getting your legs used to it.
Yeah, good
so
stuff.
There'll be a bit of bike push or bike carry or something.
I think there'll definitely be a bit of pushing.
Yeah, good. The CP media team love a little bit of carnage, just a little bit. Just keep viewers interested. How long are you expecting athletes to take to actually finish this? What are you thinking as a total? Well,
if you're doing the short course, we reckon it'll take between about 3 and 6.5 hours.
Yeah.
So that's still reasonable day out. And if you're doing the long course, then we think the fastest ones will come in around 5 hours, but you might be out there for sort of 8.5, 9 hours. This is quite a big day.
Yeah, the daylight. Just looking at the daylight hours at that time of the year. No, we should be right. Hopefully, to do too much before dark, and obviously the long course run. That's probably the biggest event outside the multisport, isn't it? That's 31 k's of up and down trail running around a couple of bays. Yeah.
So the first half of the course is sort of on a road. You're following the bike course, so you're sort of on a bit of sealed road. Then you head up the gravel, and you get epic views on that ridge line running down Levericks Ridge Road. And then you've got to run along the beach and through the estuary, and then scramble up this hill onto Cow's Farm. And it's actually the route that they used to take when there's an old historic wharf at the bottom there. So the route up the hill is actually what they used to lug everything up there. So the pack horses and that's pretty. That's going to be pretty. It's going to smash a few people getting up there. And then a beautiful run around the farm. There's ancient totara trees and the only lighthouse between Marlborough and Otago. So that's actually working. So that's really cool.
Cool.
Yeah, and then a really exciting run around the cliffs and dropping down in a wee Clifftop run to finish. So on tired legs. So it's going to be awesome.
How good. What are the 3 things you're most looking forward to with the Clifftop Challenge, Kerry, as a result of putting this on this time around?
I wrote this down, so I didn't get this wrong.
I thought they were better ask this question because I know you're
good one. So I think one of the ones is actually getting it off the ground finally after a bit of a long start. So that's going to be awesome. Having that feeling. It reminds me of Tekapo. It took us 2 years to get that going. And when that first race started, it was pretty awesome. Thinking, yay, like it's finally happening. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool.
Definitely seeing people experiencing the location. Like it's just, it's one of those places that you go, you just think, wow, I can't believe I'm actually here. Like it's just when you're out at the lighthouse and you're right on the edge of the cliff, and it's pretty special. It's going to be neat having people experience that, and then definitely seeing people cross that finish line and knowing what they've done, and yeah, there's going to be some really tired people that have actually achieved. Like, it's going to be a big day no matter what you've done. So yeah, there'll be people that have never done anything like that before, which will be really cool. And then we, going to have the experienced ones that are, going to be pretty stuffed, and hopefully they've had a good race. And yeah, that'd be the three.
Awesome. So good. That's
It's
fantastic.
going to be a massive day, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be a massive
It's going to be
day.
okay, though, Angus. I was just thinking about that, because with that lighthouse working, so no matter how late it is that you and I get in, we'll just sort of use the lighthouse to guide us in. So probably could leave the headlamp at home.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No one's left
just
behind.
guide for the lighthouse. Yep. Yeah. Oh, well, no, but I mean, this is it's a these backcountry events are just so good, aren't they? Really, they really bring a whole new. A lot of people, like you said, will never ever have been to Le Bons Bay, ever go there again. And what you're doing, Kerry, is opening up the option and the opportunity for people to go, hey, you know what? Let's go and do something different for a change.
I know, and we're so lucky. Like 𝙍𝙬, you probably noticed the last name. 𝙍𝙬's actually my husband's cousin. So we're really lucky to have that farm, like to 𝙍𝙬 to open it up to people like this. It's, you don't often get to go on someone's private land and have a play round. So it's very cool.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Which event are you entering, Richard?
Oh, I thought that long course would be fine, but then I looked at the distance of they're going to make us run. I was like, oh, that's a long way. Maybe I can do it in a team, Angus. You can do the run for me. How about that be? How's that?
Okay, moving on. Now, Kerry, that was great. Thanks for coming on. Hey, look, no, seriously, Kerry, thank you for coming for episode number 1 of our Clifftop Challenge specials that we're going to have, and we're going to give this some hype and build it up along the way, and then with a bit of luck, we'll all be out there on the day to help celebrate the inaugural Clifftop Challenge. It's going to be great. It's great. Thank you so much for bringing this event to the people.
Cool. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
One last question,
worries.
Kerry, is Angus going to get an event like a medal as a result of finishing in a team with me?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. We've got a very cool medal design. So, no, definitely a medal for Angus.
Okay. Good job. There we go. Look at that. You're not allowed to steal one either.
Let's carry on here. This is
Moving
getting
along.
dangerous. This is getting dangerous. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thanks very much, Kerry.
Cheers, Kerry.
Thanks, guys.
Sorry about
hey,
that,
one of the really good things is that there's a lot of chit chatter out there in the multi-sport world about the want for more multi-sport events. So good to see that we are getting another, especially down here, another local multi-sport event, but definitely one that's going to be worth traveling for. If you're looking for that big day out, that challenge to really put yourself to a challenge, then this is definitely going to be something for you. That's for sure.
And it stands alone as an event to train for and turn up to. It's not like I'm going to use this as a building block to something else. It's an event in itself. Like, it's a big job.
Absolutely.
And like looking at the website, it's really interesting. Looking at the profile of it, like the ups and downs, like doesn't feel like feels like it's going to be steeper than that sort of thing. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what it's actually all about, and especially adventuring for the first time and not really knowing kind of the challenge is, can I finish this thing, which changes it completely.
Yeah, totally. Hey, you know what else I think? That it is a long way to go for some people. So what you should do is carpool for a course for the environment and things. So don't just enter 3 mates as well, so that you fill the car up on the way over there.
Yeah, good job. I like it. Great tip, Angus. Great tip.
Hey, that's the tip of the day, isn't it? Really.
It is. Well done. Well done.
Hey, listen, shall we carry on and actually talk to Carl, the property owner, the man who's done all his training in and around and got all the shortcut lines and things? Carl, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Angus. Cheers.
Good stuff. Tell us a bit about your background, Carl. How long you've been farming in Le Bons Bay, and tell us also a bit about your multisport journey. How have you sort of got into that along the last couple of years?
So we've been on. Oh, there's the phone ringing.
Do you need to get that, or
just no?
It's Kerry calling.
Yeah. I'll just take it off the hook. Sorry about that.
It sounded like an old school phone. Do people still have them?
Well, we lose the power a little bit over here, so we've still got one of the old-fashioned sort of plug-in phones, because when you've got no power, those old phones still work. So it's a bit of a necessity when you're out in the wop-wops. Yeah, so farming wise, so we've been here on this farm for about 12 years now. We've been on the
Mm-hmm.
peninsula farming for about 18 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, we bought this place about 12 years ago. So yeah, so we've been sort of pretty settled in here now, and the kids are all at two at local schools and two at school in town, and yeah, so pretty busy with farming and tree fleece and the kids, and yeah, it's just all go really.
Yeah, so you mentioned that as well. So farming, but also you've got True Fleece as your business as well that you've set up. How long has that been underway
Yeah,
for?
probably similar sort of time really. We sort of started the whole thing didn't really kick it off as a business. It basically sort of started with Tori's mum making sort of merino dressing gowns and things like that for our kids to wear to bed, and then when they started school, we started them in merino jerseys, and then other people were sort of like, oh well, we wouldn't mind one of the jerseys for our kids, and then it just sort of grew from there through sort of word of mouth and other schools and things like that over about sort of probably 4 or 5 years, and then probably about 6 or 7 years ago, we started doing sort of like an adult range of outdoor gear, base layer stuff and hoodies, and sort of getting into that sort of adventure clothing type of market really was sort of where we sort of led us to. Yeah. So
Yeah, cool.
it's
So
been a
it
bit of
started off being
yeah.
an alternative to the polar fleece jersey for the kids at school.
Yeah, well, that's why I guess where the name came from was true fleece was we sort of felt like the polar fleece had sort of flogged the word fleece and sort of insinuating they had some sort of a natural product. So we sort of wanted to sort of reclaim that name. From a farming point of view, it was always a bit tough to wear when those sort of companies, when they're referring to synthetic products when they're actually a natural product. So we wanted to sort of bring that word back and sort of make it have a natural meaning again, I guess. So that's where the name sort of came from, and we've just been sort of slowly building the business sort of organically, just through word of mouth and sort of trying to get behind some events like this. Which is sort of hence one of the reasons we were keen to partner up with 𝘾𝙧𝙧𝙧𝙮 and do something on the farm. So it was a way for us to get our brand out there in an event that we've got a bit of a say in, or a bit of control in how it looks and feels, and what it means for us to be a part of, I guess.
Yeah. So what does it mean to have True Fleece involved in this event? Like, actually, it's your kind of your own multi-sport event, effectively, isn't it? That True Fleece is sort of the principal sponsor of.
Yeah. I guess like one of our sort of mantras for our brand is take sort of bring some of that kind of thinking into events and just your sort of the way you live your life, I guess. And so this event is, we're trying to sort of encourage people to get out there and do things, and take more. I can be referring to the gear and taking less gear and doing more. It can be a reference to the environment and sort of lessening your impact on the world, I guess. So we're sort of yes. So I guess the event for us means it's just a big opportunity for us to get behind something that we believe in and be a part of an event that's pretty cool and a cool part of the world, and yeah, we're just looking forward to it. Really, it's going to be good fun.
Yeah, good job. So tell us a little bit more about the course. You farm up on the hill overlooking Le Bon's Bay. How much of the event is actually on private property, so you wouldn't be able to access this on a normal weekend?
Yeah, well, all of the short course run is our farm. All of the middle course run is on our farm, and the long course run, sort of probably 2/3 of that is on the farm. Obviously the kayak's not, because it's down the estuary, but you sort of go down the estuary, which sort of skirts the boundary of our farm, and then you sort of head out into the open water, which the cliffs are kind of on the boundary of our farm. And then when you're sort of out to sea, you're sort of looking across on the farm the whole time. And then the bike kind of goes up the main valley in the Bonds and up Panama Road and out around Hickory Ridge Road, and yeah, does a bit of a circuit around the area. So yeah, so I guess the run's the main part that's on the farm. Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. So tell us about that mountain bike. How technical is it? Is it all gravel road, or are we on some sort of dodgy farm tracks as well? What are we riding on?
Yeah, it's pretty much all on. So there's a little bit on. There's a couple of 2 or 3 Ks at the start on some tar seal getting out of the valley. And then it's all shingle the whole way, and it's not particularly technical, but as Kerry referred to, the ride up Panama Road is pretty brutal. I think it's got about 500 meters of climbing and about 3 Ks. So I can't ride my bike up there. I've tried and
Okay.
can't quite get up there. So I'd be keen to see the guys that can get up there, all girls, because if they can get up that road, then yeah, they've done a pretty wicked job, because it's pretty steep. It's not, like I say, not particularly technical. It's a bit sort of rutted and things in places, but it's more just the steepness of it which makes it tough. So I think for opportunities for some carnage, I'll be sitting up there.
Yep. Cheering on. No, that's good. So would you go a mountain bike or a gravel bike? What are you thinking?
Well, I've only got a mountain bike. Well, I've got a road bike, but I haven't got a gravel bike. So I think either would probably be okay. I think technically, like I say, it's not that technical. It's all shingle roads, so you'll be fine on either really. And just whatever, I think just whatever you're comfortable on would be fine either way.
With some a pretty small sort of gear to be able to get your way up that hill if you can, with Carl cheering on as you go.
Yeah, if you can get, like I say, if you can get up there on a normal gear bike, you're doing pretty well. Then there's some big downhill sections. Once you do all that climbing, obviously got to come down again. So there's some big fast downhill sections which you can sort of go full tilt on, really. So they're quite good fun too.
Is that loose? Is that quite loose?
Yep, it's all gravel. And I know the day that we did a bit of a recce here over a year ago, there was a few sore knees and things like that, where people just got into the loose shingle and took it a bit lightly and ended up in the garage, a few tumbles. So it's not technical, but it's just tricky enough. Yeah. Just tricky enough.
Sounding more like a wider tyre mountain bike job than a skinny tyre gravel bike, probably.
Yeah. So it depends on when the grade has been through as well. So if the grade has been around sort of nearer to the time, there'll be lots more loose stuff. Or if it's been a while, there'll be some nice hard sort of tyre tracks to ride your bike on, but loose gravel either side of that. So and if you chuck a bit of speed in that, plus people flying around all over the show, it could get interesting.
So have you been talking to the local council?
No,
saying stay away.
Well, they used to do a few jobs for bags of chops and bottles of beer and things, but they don't do that anymore. So we'll just have to wait and see what they do.
Yeah, good stuff. Tell us a wee bit about the run. Like that's your farm, your property. How technical is it?
So the short one, I wouldn't say it's particularly technical, like as far as if you compare it to something like Coast, where you're doing all that boulder hopping and all that sort of stuff. There's not much of that sort of thing. Yeah. Lots of steep climbs where you're up. You might climb for 10 minutes and then you're sort of straight down again for 10 minutes. And so lots of climbing. Lots of up and down stuff, lots of steep stuff. Not a hell of a lot of. We're going to try and stay off the tracks when we're on the farm if we can. So we'll just basically be following sheep tracks and sort of make your own track, pretty much. So it'll be a bit of a mixture. But you like training wise, you want to get off the trails and get off the road as much as you can, pretty much. Just get your ankles and your knees and all those things used to running on uneven terrain, and grass could be long. So and rabbit holes and all sorts of stuff to be wary of. So yeah, it'll be interesting actually. Like, it's funny because I just do it all the time, so I don't think anything of it. But you take someone around it and they can find it if you're not used to running on that stuff all the time. So yeah, it'll be fun, interesting. So
good job.
Yeah,
you talk about steep. Do you know how many vertical meters we're looking at in terms of the course for the bike and the run?
The short course one, which is about that, I think it's about 12, 13, 14 Ks. So I don't know if we've quite pinned it down yet, but there'll be about 1,000 meters in the short one. There'll be about 1,500 or 1,600 in the about 1,800 or 1,900 in the long course. So yep. So lots of up, lots of down, not much undulating or flat. They're pretty much going up or you're going down.
Were you going to be on the start line, Carl? Try and win the inaugural event?
I'll be on the start line, Richard. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be winning much, but I'll be out there giving it a hoon.
Which leads to my next question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Will lead to my next question. Are there any secret shortcuts at all?
It just depends what you're offering for that sort of information, I guess, Richard. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I like it. That's awesome.
Anything's possible.
What's the highlight of the event going to be, in your opinion?
Well, I reckon the run will be, to be honest, because just because it's on private land, just because you can't get over that country every day. You can go and do the pedal, obviously, any day you like, and you can ride around the road any day you like. But to run over private land and knit that together with the kayak and the bike, it'll be pretty cool. So it'll be be pretty awesome. So there's some pretty cool sort of variations in the terrain. There's some really steep stuff and some really up and down stuff, and then we'll sort of do a bit of a section through a bit of a creek and through some native bush and stuff, and then you're sort of up on the ridges and could be up in a pretty strong wind, and then you're diving down through cliffs and into the bottom of the gullies and things again. So it'll be a real variation of terrain and weather and just everything all in one day. So I think the run will be the highlight, but I think that put together with the other two things just should make it pretty special all around, really.
How many times are you going to have done it before the day?
Well, believe it or not, I haven't done it actually. Believe it or not, I've done it. Obviously, done lots of paddling individually and lots of mountain biking. Although I haven't ridden up that Panama Road. I've tried once, and that was it. You can do a longer version where you don't go up Panama Road, and so I tend to take the longer, slightly easier version. And then the run, I haven't actually done the whole run in its entirety. I've done it in sections. I do the sort of short one, the 20K one for training sometimes. But I haven't done it for probably 6 or 8 months. So I hope to get a few more in, Angus, between now and then, if that's your question.
but potentially on race day, are you going to do the multi-sport?
I'm not sure. I'm probably training wise, I'm probably not. Well, at the moment, no. Probably is my short answer to that one. I'll probably just do the middle run. Probably is my go, unless I can get a team to do it with. So I'll definitely be doing something. You'll see me somewhere red and puffy and sweaty and giving it a go.
A little flag above you that says, "I'm the farm owner, follow me."
Yeah. I can do what I want. I can go where I want. Yeah.
If he stops to tie his shoelaces up or something like that, just stop with him and then wait till he goes again.
Yeah. So it should be good. So looking forward to it for lots of different reasons. Just from an athlete, well, not an athlete, but from a participant's point of view. From a farm owner's point of view, it'll be cool to have it, and from a brand perspective, it'll be cool too. And just the local community, we've got the rugby club involved, and the local batch owners are doing food and things like that. So it's going to be a pretty cool community event, and we're offering discounts to Peninsula locals and things like that to try and get a few extra ones along. So I think that's the big hope for all of us, is that it's a success and we can get lots of people along. I think if we can do that, it'll be a win.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, totally.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much for opening up your property for this, and of course for True Fleece for getting involved as well, and keeping me warm here.
Well, good, mate. Our pleasure.
Mate, we'll catch up with you later on sometime.
Right, thanks for having us on. Cheers.
Good job.
Thanks, Gal.
Excellent.
Good job.
Nice work. I was getting a little bit hot here actually in my True Fleece top, so I had to turn the heater off. How are you doing, Angus?
Actually, I'm just comfortable, thanks. It's wicking. How does this go? It's wicking the sweat away, and it's keeping the inner layer warm or something.
That's right. I can't even smell you because it's merino as well. How good?
That's right. It's only my 7th day with it on too.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice work.
Hey mate, let's just quickly talk about, because there's a lot to sink your teeth into this event, but let's talk about maybe some training for this event, because like you said before, it is a standalone event and it's a huge undertaking if you're going to go for the big one, and I can't wait to see those people toe the start line to take on this big event. But where are we going with our training, mate? What should we be aiming for, angling at? What should we be doing?
I think, like as Carl mentioned just then, it's about climbing, isn't it? It's about up and down. It's getting your body used to that and being able to do that. And it's not just about the up. Yes, you've got to be strong enough to be able to go up and fit enough to be able to do that. But like that's 2,000 meters in the long course anyway, or 1,500 or 1,000 of downhill. So actually making sure that you're strong enough to be able to do that, I think, is super important. So measuring your training in vertical meters, I think, is going to be quite important, just to be able to. I mean, there's nowhere to hide when you go up the hill, is there? And also coming down. So I think those two things are going to be really important. And by doing that, getting up and down these hills, it builds those skills and builds the confidence that you can actually do this, and you can run openly and freely on the way down some of these farm tracks, which will be good fun as long as your legs is going to be able to let you towards the end.
Well, you got a few meters in for May for our Everest challenge, but so you're halfway there and good to go.
June isn't looking quite so good, so I might need to pick it up in July potentially. Yeah. And I think the other thing that Kerry talked about was the open water paddling. Like, it's open water, it's the sea, isn't it? That rolls in there, so it could be a bit rolly, and it's those pyramid waves that come against the rocky cliffs and bounce back. So you're getting waves in kind of both angles. So boat choice is going to be really important as well. To actually don't think I'm paddling down the Waimak in my fast river boat. Actually get something that's stable enough that you can cope if it is a bit choppy out there, because it won't be just automatically transferred to the estuary. You want to think about, I'm stable, I'm in control, and I'm going to enjoy my day, rather than thinking, oh no, I'm going to be out here and hope I can actually finish this thing. Like, you want to go and enjoy yourself, so get into something that's stable enough that you can actually paddle and stay safe.
It's really, that open water thing is almost scary, depending on what the weather is. On a lovely day, it's beautiful, but like, it's almost building as an adventure race almost as well. Like, it's a multi-sport race, but it's kind of an adventure race in that as well, isn't it? So maybe we can rustle up a few of those adventure races. All of those people out there who love a really good adventure, this would be just the perfect event for them.
Absolutely. Oh, those wiry old dogs that just like being out there for a long time. It's definitely right up the alley. And I think the other key thing is just to think about, how long is it going to take you and how hard are you going to go? And in any training, that's what we're trying to do, is build up to the point of simulating the race. So that's kind of the thing I think you want to be kind of just thinking about in your mind before November, is that how long is it going to take me? And I want to be up to simulating that kind of in October time. So then it's not a shock to you, and then there's less likely of the cramp monster coming to go and find you and make you can enjoy your day as well.
Yeah, I've actually just been looking at this 10K run and maybe even the 15K run, but thinking, all this talk about being out there on the farm and having all those views and things, it's almost tempting.
Oh, I have to say that you were looking pretty good in that run technique the other day with the bare feet on in the Sunshine Coast. You go pretty well. Who knows?
Hey, there's a bit of a difference to the main street of Noosa to the hilly farms of Le Bon's Bay, mate.
Yeah, that's right. Well, this has been recorded, so just be careful what you say. There's been plenty of banter around that.
Yeah. Hey, shall we get to our final? Final, I was going to say contestant, but Alice is not a contestant yet. She'll be a contestant soon, though, right?
I think she's sort of a contestant. Let's call Alice a contestant. How are you getting on, Alice?
Hello. Good.
That's the story. You've done lots of different stuff, haven't you? You enjoy a good run around the hills with your fast packing and getting into the mountain biking as well. Give us a bit of background. Like, how long have you been involved in endurance events and doing this sort of stuff?
Oh, that's a good question. I've got a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I would have called myself pre-kids an adventure racer. But when I say that, it was more like your row games and your spring challenge kind of stuff. And then post-kids, I've become more of a runner, and my poor mountain bike, it really misses me.
Yep. Good. Yeah. So this will be an opportunity to kind of get that out of the garage, out of the shed, and sort of make sure that you do a few ups and downs on the old mountain bike.
100%. So I get really distraught by how like multi-sport races are a road bike. I have a road bike, but to be honest, I find them very boring. And so finding events like this that have got the mountain bike and the run and then the kayak is really exciting. Like, we need more of these. Yeah. Definitely.
Yes. And as Carl was saying, there might be a bit of there was a bit of carnage on the test day that they ran. So you've got to manage yourself on the down. You can't just kind of go crazy. You've actually got to have some skills and manage your speed on the way down to make sure you stay upright. Obviously, that's part of the fun and the adventure of it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I do love my downhill, but I think I'll be taking it easy because I also like my knees.
Yeah, knee pads, full face helmet, ready to
Yeah.
roll. Outside of running and biking, what else do you put your time and energy into?
The kids, the family life. Yeah, I'm finding myself doing a bit more volunteering these days. I'm actually getting my husband to step into a school thing now because, yeah, helping out with the local playground fundraising and things, predator free. They're kind of my jam. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
And like I talked about fast packing, that's you help manage an Instagram page. I think that's sort of that keeps popping up all these amazing photos of people doing amazing stuff around the place. Tell us about
yeah.
tell us quickly about fast packing and what's your favorite trip so far?
A couple of years ago, I found on social media this thing called fast packing, because when I went tramping, I'd break out into a bit of a jog with this heavy pack on, and yeah, I was just like, actually, this fast packing thing, that could be my jam. And so I created this Facebook community so I could ask questions and I could find out information about the gear and where to go and how do you do it and that sort of thing. And it's just gone nuts. There's like 3,500 members nearly in the Fast Packing New Zealand Facebook group. And in that Facebook group, we together collaboratively made a spreadsheet with all the gear. And so you can go through it and like look at different tents and different sleeping bag options, and it's got the links and stuff. And it's a great asset that our community's created. And so I got lots of ideas off that. And then there is also an Instagram account. Check that out as well, as a community Instagram account. But yeah, my favorite trip, I was thinking about this because you did set me up for it. I'm going to have to go to Thumb Range. Why? Because logistics, it's a big deal, because it's one of those ones where you go in at Mesopotamia at the 𝙧𝙧𝙧𝙗 end, and then you come out at Tekapo. And so it's quite a big difference between those two areas to get back to your vehicle. And it's on my backyard. I'm from Timaru. And that place, that area is just phenomenally beautiful. Absolutely stunning. It's got the highest part of Te Aroa on it. So I definitely recommend that.
Yeah, how good. That's awesome. So you do love a good adventure and you do love exploring new places. Have you been to Le Bon's Bay before?
No, I was asking my husband before he was born in Pigeon Bay, just over a few bays. And so I asked him, but he left there when he was 4, so I can't remember. But no, I would love to get there. How good does it look?
Yes. Which is my next question. What are you most looking forward to?
Well, for me, it was trying to decide which event to do, because I love mountain biking and I love trail running, and I really want to do like the whole thing. But then that kayaking thing, I talked to Kerry about it, and it sounds like it is quite serious. I can't kayak. It's something I'd like to learn more about. So I'm on the hunt. I'm on the hunt for a kayaker.
I've got a boat for you already, Alice. That's all right. A nice stable sea kayak. You'll be good as gold.
I have got a friend giving me a kayaking lesson in Cromwell this weekend. So
okay, there you go. So you got lessons plus a boat. That's 2 steps already done.
I don't know. So I don't know. If someone wants to do that
public announcement,
yeah,
totally. Public announcement. If you want to do the kayak, have a play in the surf or up the estuary, whatever it might be, Alice is looking for you. Get in touch with Alice.
Damn sure. And we're doing the long course. We're not pissing around.
Good.
If you love surf, if you love boats, and you love sharing a medal at the end, some good banter. Well, you two,
maybe some
whoever your partner is,
knees.
shouldn't have time for the banter.
This is true. Just give me that bloody thing and we've got to swap over and I'm out of here.
You're not going to spend much time with Alice, but it'll be a shared medal to get across. Based on what Carl and Kerry have talked about this evening, is there anything there that makes you a little bit nervous, Alice?
You know, that downhill he talked about. I'm quite happy to push a bike. I can do that. But the downhill, I'm just like, oh my goodness, speed wobbles. No, it just got sitting here. I was just so excited listening to Kerry in particular. How good does this event sound? Like, I've been reading the website and I've been following along with Kerry, but oh my goodness, this event just sounds incredible. So excited.
There we go. You've sold me.
Yeah.
What are your goals for the event? What do you want to do by turning up to it?
So for me, you talked about the whole adventure racing thing, and that's where like the mountain bike and that sort of thing comes in. Is I'm probably more of an adventure racer where you start looking for checkpoints and things. So for me, it's going to have to be that sustained, Alice. You don't have a chance just to have a stop and look at the map. You've just got to keep going. So for me, it's going to be switching over to that thought you know what I'm trying to say, like where I just keep going. I'm not allowed to stop. I've
Be
just got to keep
efficient,
moving
keep moving
forward.
forward. Yeah.
That's going to be the mind shift for me. So something I'll have to work on.
But having your snacks at the same time, because that's a beauty of sort of adventure racing, isn't it? As the snacks you bring along, but there's plenty of time for
photos.
snacks.
I'll be all about the photos too, because that scenery is going to be phenomenal. Yeah.
Where's your local training ground going to be for this? Where are you going to pick for your training for this event?
Yeah, so for me too, it's particularly the mountain biking, because trail running's easy. Like, yeah, go and find a hill. I did Little Mount Peel twice. I did a figure eight at Mount Summers, all those crazy things. But for me, it's the mountain biking and trying to find something where I can be going up, down, up, down, up, down. Or, yeah, the mountain biking's the one that I'm going to have to work on, finding somewhere. Mount Studham is out behind us here in Timaru, and I think I'm going to become quite friendly with it and my mountain bike. Yeah.
Good. No, that's awesome, Alice. I look forward to catching up with you about that paddling in a month or two's time in terms of figuring out whether that's going. There's a couple of comments that have just come through to say,
"Oh, really?
Alice, you'll be kayaking by then. You'll be fine."
I mean, it was people offering, not just throwing people back.
No, that's just all for you. You've got this, Alice. Yeah. There's lots of confidence.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Good stuff. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to cheering you on and following your progress. And we're at the finish line to see what sort of state you're in as you bounce across the finish line towards the end. But all the best for the training, all the best for some of those ups and downs and figuring out the paddling. And we'll look forward to catching up with you soon, Alice.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim.
Good job. Alice. Well done.
Yeah,
bye.
And Angus, Clifftop Challenge. Lock it in.
It's bloody exciting. It really is, actually. The Clifftop Challenge, can't wait to see it get underway 4th of November. Make sure you get your entry in and get involved. And yeah, I think it's going to be an absolute asset to the multi-sport community, this race.
And I really like it was, okay, how do you get there? It's a long way away. What time of the day does it start? Like, to actually go and camp there the night before. I think that really adds to the whole vibe of the event as well. Because that's often the best thing about these things. You get out to see these amazing places and get to hang out with a few others before or after the event.
I'm imagining after the event, the camping over the after event, around the little bonfire with our marshmallows, telling the stories of the day, singing Kumbaya, all of those things.
That's right. Well, we order another meal that Carl cooks for us.
Oh no, but like seriously, like to Kerry and the team for putting this on and finally going to get this underway. It's going to be amazing. Of course, to Carl for the landowner for sharing his land with everybody and making it available, and his own business, True Fleece, for getting them behind it. This is going to be an absolute stunner of event. We're absolutely proud to be involved with it here at Team CP, and this podcast series is just going to get better as we get closer to the time.
Yeah. Good job, just like that. So look after yourself, enjoy your training, get out there, get your entry in, and we'll look forward to seeing you in November on the start line, and let's go and have an adventure.
Absolutely. Over and out.
Well done, team.